Joining us now is Fox News contributor Lisa Boothe and Chris Bedford, executive director of the Common Sense Society. Chris, let's start with you. There is no one I know, and everyone knows it. I clerked at the court many years ago, but no one I knew who was a serious lawyer thought that this case had a snowball's chance in hell of surviving court scrutiny. And you have to think that the White House knew that as well. So why do you think they did it anyway?
Well, they did know it, and Joe Biden even admitted it when he was talking about the amounts he was trying to forgive here. The White House doesn't control the power of the purse. That's entirely up to Congress, and as long as Congress is willing to exercise it, which less and less they seem willing to do. So exactly like you said, this was just a calculated political play by the White House to gin up some support amongst young voters.
Lisa, to further prove my point, listen to Biden and Pelosi just a few years ago.
People think that the President of the United States has the power for debt forgiveness. He does not. He can postpone, he can delay, but he does not have that power. That has to be an act of Congress.
We need student loan forgiveness beyond the potential $10,000 your administration has proposed. What will you do to make that happen?
I will not make that happen.
Lisa, I found it rich that Pelosi's comments there were even quoted in the court's decision today. That was bravo. I love that little touch.
It was. And look, you nailed it in your monologue. I mean, that's exactly what this was, right? It's a ploy to buy votes. He did this before the midterm elections. As we heard there, he even said he didn't have the power to do this. But, sadly, it did kind of work. I mean, Democrats did really well with Gen Z, with younger voters in the midterm elections. So to some degree, it was effective. And that's what reparations is as well, this push. I don't think Joe Biden, just like the student loans, he doesn't care if this ever gets done. He just wants to use it as a political ploy. But about reparations, the idea is dumb, right? No one is owed anything in life. No one should have to pay for sins that they did not commit. And I think that Reuters investigation really underscored the reason why this is all stupid. I mean, Donald Trump ended up being the only living president that's not a descendant of slaves. And this investigation that Reuters did and looking into politicians and people in politics to see if they were descendants of slaves. Obama is a descendant of slaves, but not Trump, right? And you can even see, Black people own slaves in America. Black on black slavery took place in Africa for thousands of years. So this is nonsensical. It's a political ploy, and we should all reject it.
Now, Chris, the squad, which has been tamed for the most part by Nancy Pelosi, the lion tamer, Ilhan Omar of the squad reacted to the court's decisions today. Watch this.
If you take all of these cases together, if you think about all the grievances that have brought about the Trump election, what you're seeing is severe backlash in the sense that people do not want to see Black and brown people excel in this country.
Chris, apparently she hasn't seen any of the 5 or 6 recent polls done on the issue of affirmative action, where the numbers are overwhelmingly against racial preferences, their use in admissions or to dole out benefits. I mean, this is one of the rare issues where there's bipartisan agreement.
Yeah, because the American people on a bipartisan level support meritocracy. They support a system where people are rewarded for their efforts. And that's not something that's always been perfect in the United States, but it's something we've been working towards, and race-based admissions fly directly in the face of that. But I wouldn't get too excited about the Supreme Court ruling. You've already seen an attack on standardized testing and GPAs or SATs for admittance. I think a lot of these colleges are pretty seamlessly going to shift toward what they're going to call a holistic approach, where they get to choose who they want, and they're going to hide some of the evidence that they're actually discriminating against people to try and choose the elites that they want. But the core matter of this is that our top schools, whether they're Harvard or Yale or Princeton, are synonymous with decline. They're no longer putting forward the leaders Americans need. Instead, they're just indoctrinating people, and unfortunately, that's probably going to continue.
Yeah, go to SEC schools, everybody. Lisa, finally, this has been a stunning series of decisions at the end of this court term, with the exception of the state legislature voting issues case. It's been fabulous. I mean, the court's basically returning to a more originalist understanding of the Constitution. Your reaction?
Well, I went to the University of Tennessee, so I agree with the SEC point. But also regarding, but look, schools are going to try to find ways, colleges and universities are going to try to find ways to skirt it, but it's still points on the board, right? These rulings today are points on the board for conservatives. We need those points on the board because we've been taking beatings under this administration. But this drive for equity and the ditching of equality is going to be a death knell for our country. We can already look at the impact on corporate America. We're no longer seeking excellence as a country. Everything is racially driven. Jobs are given out on a racial basis. You can look at this administration. Pete Buttigieg, chosen because he's gay. Karine Jean-Pierre, Black, lesbian, and a woman. Lots of lists and box checking on Democrats' list of hierarchy of political power in the country. Kamala Harris, the least popular vice president in American history, chosen because she's a Black woman. And the administration's a disaster as a result of all of it.
In the end, the results speak for themselves, and the voters are going to have to decide. Do they want excellence, or do they want mediocrity and a slide downward? Lisa, Chris, have a wonderful Independence Day. Thanks so much. All right, we explain why the trans issue has become like a cultish or orthodox, faith for the left. Why? Stay with us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.